In this video, I'll go through some examples of calculating summary statistics for different types of data. So remember, when you start, set your working directory and then load a couple of different packages, dplyr and ggplot2. So do that before you start, and then we're going to look at some data on gliding snakes. So we're going to look at this variable here, undulation rate in hertz. This is what the first 6 observations look like, and then here's a histogram of the data. So in this case, we've got continuous data, and we can calculate summary statistics like the mean, the variance, and the standard deviation. So these are all just inbuilt functions. Other summary statistics, we might need to do a calculation to work out what the value is. So in this case, here's an example, the coefficient of variation. There's no inbuilt function to do that, but we know the formula. It's 100 times the standard deviation over the mean. So we can calculate that as well. So that was an example of a data set with a continuous variable. This next example is a summarized data set. So in this case, we've got a sample where the individuals could have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on criminal convictions. And this is telling us that there were 265 individuals who had no convictions. 49 had 1, 21 had 2, and so on. And so if we want to work with data like this, we have to do a little bit of manipulation first, because this data set has been summarized. So to recreate the original data, we can use this piece of code here. So this is using the rep function, and it's taking the number of convictions. So remember, that's either 0 or 1 or 2, and it's repeating those values by the frequencies. So it'll repeat 0 265 times, and then 1 49 times, and so on. So let me show you. So I'll recreate the full data, and then let's take a look at it. Okay, so there's, what did I say, 265 zeros and 49 ones, and so on. And now I can calculate summary statistics based on the recreated full data set. So the mean and the standard deviation, for example. Let's look at another example. This one's on spider running speeds. And in this data set, I've got the speeds recorded and also the treatment, whether it was before or after a limb amputation. Self-inflicted, I should say. So let's look at the before data. So I'll use the filter function in the dplyr library or package to focus just on the before treatments, the speeds of the spiders before amputation. So I could calculate the median, upper and lower quartiles, and the interquartile range. I could also look at a box plot of the speeds for the spiders before and after treatment. So this is fine as it is, but it might be kind of nice if we had the before measurements on the left of the after measurements. That would kind of make more sense given the context. So how would I do that? Well, one way is to reorder the treatment levels using the factor function. So if I run that bit of code and then I do the box plots again, look what happens when I recreate the plot. I get the before values to the left of the after values, and that is a little more, makes a little more sense in the context. Another type of graph we could look at here is a cumulative frequency distribution. So these are looking at the running speeds before amputation, and it gives a cumulative relative frequency on the y-axis. Here's an example of a continuous variable and a categorical variable. So stickleback lateral plates. I could look at histograms, multiple histograms, and it puts them in alphabetical order. So with uppercase m's first, and then uppercase lowercase m second, and then actually it's the other way around, isn't it? It starts at the top. So lowercase m's is on the top, and then uppercase m, lowercase m in the middle, and then two uppercase m's at the bottom for the genotypes. But let's suppose that we want to reorder that. So we'll have it going in the other order. So now if I recreate the histograms, it'll do it the other way around. So this is an example where we have continuous data and a continuous variable and a categorical variable. So the number of lateral plates is the continuous variable, and then the genotype is the categorical variable. I could calculate summary statistics for each of the three groups. So for example, the sample size, the mean, the median, the standard deviation, the interquartile range, and the proportion. So I'm going to use the summarize command, which is in the dplyr package, to calculate those summary statistics for each group. And then I'll run the table to have a look at the results. Okay, so I've run through some examples of calculating summary statistics for different types of variable, and also shown you a few more graphs as well, particularly the box plots.